Hi friends and hi students. The reason for calling students is today I'm not taking the music class, but for the this is actual thing I wanted to do. This is a tuition for 9th standard. 9th standard students. Textbook is NCERT textbook, and the lesson name is the fundamental unit of life. So fundamental unit of life. What is the fundamental unit of life? Does anybody know? If you know the answer, I'll be happy. Or if you don't know, I'll tell. The fundamental unit of life is cells. Have you heard of cells? So this is also called structural unit of life. So all our human body or plants or animals, everything is made up of cells. What are these cells? What do you mean when the human body is made up of cells or plants are made up of cells? What do you mean by that? And what are the different components in the cell? So how do it contribute to the function of the organism or function of the animals or function of the human beings? How does it become the structural unit of cell? So by knowing the different functions of the different components of the cell, we will understand slowly what are the different organelles, components or organelles. It is called as components or organelles of the cell. By knowing each organelle, we'll get to know what are all cells, what are all the cells does in our body, and what are different kinds of cells. All that we'll get to know in this chapter. Today I don't have a board, so it is test for your concentration. So you should listen to me and write down if you are good at it. Writing down actually helps in improving your concentration. And what you understand that it shows, and also we can refer that notes in the exam time when you don't have time to study. Then you just undergo the points whatever you have written, and you can build on that and you can write the answers. So writing down is an important step in learning process. So please note down. I might be fast. Just to cover more portion, I'll be fast. By next time, I'll write on board so that you can write down. So now you listen, you concentrate, and if possible, write down after the video. I like I'm a scientist, and so I basically, even when I was studying in college, I like the history of I studied microbiology, history of scientists, history of microbiology. That means description of who discovered and what they discovered in which year. So that gives us, if we just a line that it is discovered by this person in this year. For example, in this lesson, Robert Hooke cells, whatever we talk about cells today in this world, this was discovered long back. This was discovered in 1665. So almost 16 means 16th. Now we are in 2024, and it was discovered in 1665 by Robert Hooke by primitive microscope. Microscope is nothing but magnifying lens. It consists of magnifying lens, and today's microscope is advanced so that it has some to a platform to keep the slide, and binocular lens to see, and light, the source of light, everything the microscope has. So you have used a microscope. If you are wondering why, when did we use Bhoota Kannadi, we say nowadays the children are not getting that Bhoota Kannadi. When we were young, we were using that magnifying. You ask your parents, a magnifying lens. And that was a magnifying lens. It shows the objects much bigger than what they are appear. To naked eyes, it appears smaller, but with that lens, it appears bigger so that we can view it properly. That is microscope. So Cells were also observed by Robert Hooke by primitive microscope, whatever he has studied. This is before Anton van Leeuwenhoek, who has discovered first microscope. That is out of syllabus. Sorry to say this. So it is a very primitive microscope, maybe some magnifying lenses he saw, and he discovered cells. So what should be his mind? How he should think? His curiosity. So for a scientist or the person who studies science or for that any subject, the student should have curiosity. When student is curious only to know about the things, to whether it is history, whether it is science, whether it is mathematics, or whether it is languages, whatever student should have curiosity. When you have curiosity, what is cells, and what I should know about cells, because human body is made up of cells. So when you are studying biology, I feel very happy to study biology. Because I'm studying about my own body. For example, skeletal system means how the bones are, all that I will get to know. And something happens, I'll understand what is this, what is that, and so all that. So it is studying our own life. Own biology means studying our own life, whether it's plant cells or animal cells. So this is the introduction. So coming to the lesson. Cells were first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. Actually, for this, what he did was, he took a cork. Cork is a piece of the oak tree. He cut the piece of the cork tree, and he examined under the lens. Then he saw some little compartments. Little compartments when he saw under the primitive microscope, whatever he has developed. So he named it as cells. Cells means little room. So maybe for him it appeared like a little room. So he named it as cells. It is a Latin word. Cells is a Latin word. It is he named it as little room. Then the cell theory came. Cell theory came much later. This was the first observation. For example, what are the compartments? I will show you. I don't have a board now, but I can show you in the textbook. When you can open the textbook, this chapter 5, page number 57 in NCERT textbook. So also, what is a microscope? In school, you must have seen microscope. This is today's microscope. But this is not the one which Robert Hooke used it to see the cells. It was more primitive. So this is the onion peel. Onion. They have cut the onion and looked under the microscope. And these diagrams are just as it is. It will be printed in the textbooks. Whatever you see, that will be printed in the textbooks. Whatever diagrams you see in biology. So when it was sawn under the microscope, this was the onion peel was like this. So if you see here, these are called cells. So this is like small room, no? So cells, these are like this cells will be there. This thing, each individual individual thing is called as cells. So this is in plants, and I'll show you the human cells also later. So the cell theory came in 1839. Cell theory came in 1839. What does the cell theory say? What does the cell theory say? uh, that what does the cell theory say? Cell theory says that whether it is plants and animals are composed of cells, and the cell is the basic unit of life. And this was it is in cell theory. If they ask, explain the cell theory, whether it is plants and animals. As you know, you should remember plants and animals. In zoology, we are studying about plants and animals. So the all plants and animals are composed of cells. Cell theory says that all plants and animals are composed of cells, and cell is the basic unit of life. Cell is the basic. Why that is called basic unit of life, you will understand further. And this was presented by Sheldon and Schwann. So it took 200 years. It took 200 years to again work on cells. It was the first robot who worked on cells in 1665, and here the Sheldon, Sheldon and Schwann worked on it uh, in 1839. So that long nobody worked on cells, and nobody can tell anything about the cells. So this is cell theory, and in 1940, and after 100 years, in 1940, electron microscope came. Electron microscope is what you can see viruses. So very, very small, which are actually microscope is there to see the which cannot be seen with the naked eyes, can be seen with the microscope. Very small minute objects can be seen with the microscope. So electron microscope shows even smaller units. So with this, cells were seen. Cells organelles, complex structure of cells, organelles. Organelles, as I told, it is components. Organelles are also called as not also called as, and simplifying it as components of the cell. So cells are called structure of cells is organelles. With the electron microscope, organelles also came into existence. Organelles with the electron microscope, organelles were studied better. So next in humans, now cells that was in plant cells, it was similar. If we take the onion, it was similar in the cell's shape was similar in onion. So do you think that like in human beings also the cells will be like that, or the human beings will be made up of that small compartments whole body? No. So human beings come under animals. There are different kinds of cells in human beings. There are different kinds of cells depending on the function. The shape will vary. Since I don't have board, I'm putting this. If you have book, you can refer this page. See, these are different kinds of cells present in the human bodies. So this is one bone cell, this is fat cell, this is nerve cell, and this is smooth muscle cell, this is ovum. So these are cells. And in each cell, what do you mean by structural unit of life? Structural unit of cells is the cells will be nerve cells. If it is irrespective of everyone will contain nerve cells, will be nerve cell in same in everybody, and it contains nucleus, plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is nothing but cell membrane. All that. 1 second. plasmamembrane, nucleum, and cytoplasm. When the cell is looked under a microscope, it consists of plasma membrane or cell membrane, and nucleus, and cytoplasm. So now I will show the animal structure of an animal cell. So these are the main three components of a cell. Repeat it. I will repeat that. Cytoplasm, cell membrane, cytoplasm, cell membrane, and nucleus. Sorry for this. Next video it will be fine. This is the reason I didn't do lessons all this time. So the reason I am showing this picture is, this is the cell. This is an animal cell. This is when I write it, it will be simple. It is a little bit complicated when you see, but it is just whatever parts are labeled, you just write that. While writing a diagram, you put the outline, and whatever the parts are labeled, you write that, and that is fine. That will be enough. No need of copying everything in the diagram. So now today I am talking about cell membrane. Cell membrane. So this is the cell membrane. This is the cell envelope. Cell envelope are called a cell membrane. Cell membrane, and this is the nucleus center. Nucleus is centrally located. Nucleus, and this space is called cytoplasm. So whatever we talk about is this cell membrane. This is the one we are talking about now. You should imagine in science. You should imagine while instead of just by hearting, you should imagine. If I say cell membrane, that round picture, and the envelope, it is a cell envelope. It is it separates the inner components of the cells from the external environment. So it's important. As I say, next video will be fine. So plasma membrane is also called as plasma membrane or cell membrane, and it is outermost covering of the cell that separates the contents of the cell from its external environment. From its external environment, it separates the as you saw in the diagram, the cell contains many things: nucleus, Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum, everything it contains. So the contents, if there is no, for example, you take an egg, you imagine an egg, that is not the shape of the cell, but imagine an egg. When you break that, the white part is called cell membrane, and the inside the yellow thing is called as cell components. I'm not comfortable sitting. Okay. So you can imagine the egg. So the white part is called cell membrane. Just I am giving an example. Don't write in exam that egg about egg. You should write only about the cells, animal cell and plant cell. So imagine an egg, and the white outer covering is cell membrane. So if it is ruptured, what happens? It is separating the yolk from the outer environment. Similarly, way the cell membrane separates the contents of the cell from its external environment. So entry and exit of some materials in and out of the cell. It also regulates the cell membrane is special because it exits, and some materials will exit in and out. Some materials will exit, will enter the cell, and some materials will leave out of the cell. So this property is called as semi-permeable membrane. Cell membrane is called a selective permeable membrane, not selective permeable membrane. And in biology, the words is very important. You should write the same words. If you write your own words, it will give you a different meaning. So whatever is in the textbook, you write the same word. So it is called selective permeable membrane. Because some particles, some materials will enter the cell, and some materials will go out of the cell. That's why it is called selective permeable membrane. So with this, there are one second.